Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
I can't tell you when's the last time I got so serious about something like this Slapshot remake discussion. And we've had some really good ones coming in here. Jeff in Winnipeg, Camilla says the Baldwin brothers for the Hansons. Wayne in Victoria agrees with my Zach Galifianakis as Denis Lemieux. Denis Lemieux, continuons sa saison. Who would be Dickie Dunn? I feel like Elliot Friedman should play Dickie Dunn. But I think that Billy Bob Thornton is a slam dunk as Reg Dunlop, because this is a very, very important role. This would be the role that might define Billy Bob Thornton's career.
It's the role.
It's the role. And I will go along with Billy Bob Thornton as Reg Dunlop. That's how big of a fan I am of his.
How about that?
And of Reg Dunlop's, and nobody has come close to anybody else.
Somebody mentioned Steve Carell. Steve Carell maybe is Jim Carr.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
He could be Jim Carr. That works for me.
No. The guy whose idea this was in the first place, Robin Wildy, he's watching in PA. He says Liam Neeson as Joe McGrath. Liam Neeson's way too cool to play Joe McGrath. Way too cool.
Somebody mentioned.
Hey! John in Winnipeg. John Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
As Joe McGrath.
Yeah. Slam dunk.
Perfect.
Oh, how about that? Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hashtag dad advice from Jim Peterson, my dad, who said, cheer as loud as you want for your own team. Don't ever boo the other team. Don't ever boo the other team. And to boo your own team? Unthinkable. In the world of James William Peterson. So, A, I would never do it. B, with the cost of those things? Are you kidding me?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. Thank you, Rick Regan. Welcome to your favorite daytime sports talk show. It is episode number 467. Joining you today on Game Plus Television and YouTube Live from rainy South Florida. And in moments, you're going to hear from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. That's where the Moose, Darren DuPont, resides. But before we bring him in, I've got the show guest lineup. I've got the quick six show topics. But we open the show with breaking news, guys. Breaking news. I assume all of you have the notifications on your phone, as do I. Connor McDavid will not play tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs, for the Edmonton Oilers against the Toronto Maple Leafs in a late night of the NHL schedule in Toronto. Connor McDavid deemed out.
Oh,
and we can delve further into that. But from my Score app, Oilers captain Connor McDavid, forward Derek Ryan, and defenseman Tyson Barrie have been placed in COVID-19 protocol and will not play Wednesday night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we have breaking news right out of the chute. And for the Edmonton Oilers, who everybody's talking about the heat on them, it's not going to help when they go into Toronto tonight without Connor McDavid. Let's bring in the Moose, Darren DuPont. And even though you are a Leafs fan, Moose, I can't think that this makes you feel good. Oh, my gosh. I hope we could go 2 hours today without some bad news, but we leave the port to set sail with bad news. I assume you got the same notification just moments ago.
Yeah, it's tough. We saw it before yesterday that he was going into the protocol, and we weren't sure, right? And Austin Matthews went through this too. He took the home, rapid test, and then he went and it showed positive. So he went in for the PCR test, and that came back negative. So there was a path for him to be able to play in the game tonight. It does suck, but in a weird, sadistic kind of way, I think this might be good for the Edmonton Oilers. Now, Connor McDavid not in the lineup is never really a good thing, but they're dealing with all this adversity, and it's like, Connor and Leon will get us out of it. They can score enough goals to get us out of this, right? Well, now Connor's not there. So everybody else needs to step up a little bit. This might rally the team together. I would watch out for Edmonton tonight. In a weird way, I have a feeling.
National television tonight, Wednesday night on Sportsnet, Leafs Oilers, no Connor McDavid. So how about that? Coming up on the program today, Ryan Leslie, the host of Sportsnet Flames broadcast. He'll be joining us in hour 1 and in hour 2 from ESPN 1530 in Cincinnati. Our good friend Moe Egger to talk about the AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals. And nice work by producer Clark to get Moe on, because if you recall, Moe dared to predict the Bengals would make the playoffs this year, and we all laughed at him. And now they've won the AFC North. So we've got some stuff to talk with Moe Egger about. So that's the roadmap of the show. Can we please jump into the Quick Six show topics directly, Jordan, please? And thank you. Well, we've covered, I guess, what would be the first topic. McDavid not playing tonight due to COVID. Now, to last night's games, I'm reading from the Associated Press story. The NHL season isn't even half over, yet Calgary coach Daryl Sutter has seen enough to offer big praise to the Florida Panthers. Daryl Sutter saying after last night's game, that's a team that's built for playoff hockey. Few would argue these days the Panthers are rolling again, and Sutter's Flames were on the receiving end on Tuesday night. Patrick Hornquist scored twice. Sergei Bobrovsky stopped the season-high 47 shots, and the Panthers pushed their winning streak to 4 games by topping the Calgary Flames 6-2. We can settle in on this one if you want. This was my featured game of the night, and 6-2 did not do justice to what the game was. I was there, had a front row seat. I think the shots were 49-45, if my math is correct. 94 shots in all. The Flames outshot the Florida Panthers 49-45. And just to give you an idea of the game, Moose, I wrote about it in the commentary. It's up at rodpedersen.com right now. It's aired on Cat Country and Rock 98.5. 2 lessons were learned in the game, because the Flames came into the game, and I don't know if the Panthers were expecting it or not, but they tried to run them out of the rink. Flames style, especially under Daryl Sutter. And the Panthers didn't have a shot for the first 4 minutes, which is saying something for the Florida Panthers, who have led the NHL in first period goals. But they shrugged that off. Flames actually took a 2-1 first period lead, but it was like whack. It was like the Panthers got hit, stumbled up against the ropes, and they're like, oh, yeah? And then the Flames kept playing that rough and tumble hockey. They got in the penalty box. They got into penalty trouble. The Panthers scored 5 unanswered goals and came back and won the game 6-2. And I was driving home from the game thinking, one from Florida, from their perspective, they're not just a finesse team, because that's what everybody thinks. Hooby-dooby-doo, Alexander Barkov, they're all skill. No, they can stand up to the bullies. And it's a great day when you realize you can stand up to the bullies and win. Florida realized that about themselves last night, and the Calgary Flames realized they got some work to do, because I was sitting there very early on tweeting from the game, hey, this is the most aggressive team that's come in here all season long. The Flames were, but they didn't keep it up for 60 minutes. And even then you saw what Daryl said after the game. They're like, this team is at another level from anybody else I've seen. Were you able to catch any of it on Sportsnet Flames last night? Yeah, I was going back and forth between that one and a couple others on the NHL app. And you know, you're right. It was like, it felt like the Avengers going against Thanos, kind of like Calgary threw everything they had at Florida, and the Panthers ended up, winning 6-2. I mean, Calgary's aggressive. They know they've got some things to clean up. They went toe-to-toe with them. Obviously, they don't want to get into a shootout with a team like that. But it was a good test, not just for Florida. It was a good test for Calgary, too, a measuring stick. Now they know where they need to be if they want to compete, get into the playoffs, and go on a run in the spring. They got to be able to play the way they played, but they got to compete. They got to stay out of the penalty box and beat teams like Florida. But it was a really fun game, even though the score was a little lopsided. Yeah, it was odd the way the game is. The goals started to pour in for the Florida Panthers, but my God, are they a good hockey team? Listen, the comments are pouring in, and I appreciate you, but just hold on, because this is me and Moose's time here in the warm-up. Moving on to other NHL games. There were a lot of games last night, 8. I've just designated a few highlight games here. The Winnipeg Jets are responding to new coach Dave Lowry. Connor Hellebuck stopped 26 shots, and the Jets won their 3rd straight, beating the Arizona Coyotes 3-1 in Glendale. It was the 3rd win in a row for the Jets, all under Lowry, who replaced longtime coach Paul Maurice back on December 17th. Winnipeg in 5th place in the Central Division with 37 points was coming off a 5-4 overtime win over the Vegas Golden Knights. We talked about that yesterday. The Jets didn't let down against the Coyotes, who are now an NHL worst 6-22-3. We'll talk about that coming up in our top 5, bottom 5. And another game that I had my eye on, Andre Palat had 2 goals and an assist to lead the Tampa Bay Lightning past the Columbus Blue Jackets 7-2. The win was the first in 4 games for Tampa Bay. Columbus has lost for the 4th time in 5 games. Andre Palat is the favorite player of my little buddy Brody, kid here in South Florida. And this is funny because did you see Wes McGauley's call on the highlights of the game of the Detroit San Jose? Brody is from a family of young hockey playing kids down here in South Florida. They live in Dodge City. And here's the thing about Wes McGauley. The other night they were going to the Panthers game and the kids all wanted to know if Wes McGauley was going to be the ref going to the game. I couldn't name you 3 other NHL referees besides Wes McGauley. I swear to God. So I think it's kind of funny that the NHL, while they don't want the referees to have any personality, sometimes I think they don't want anybody to have any personality. They don't have a problem with Wes McGauley. The guy's got a thing. He's got chutzpah. He's got pizzazz.
He does. He does in a huge way. And he's so wonderful for the game. The players love him. You know, maybe they roll their eyes at him sometimes, but like it's really good for the game. And did you hear that call? You can just find it on, I think it's on our social, it's on everybody's social media, of the 5 for fighting. And the crowd goes nuts. The broadcasters go nuts. It's so entertaining.
Imagine going to the rink and wondering who the referee's going to be and if it's going to be Wes McGauley. That's the thing that he's got going on, so kudos to him. Now, to point 2, our NHL top 5, bottom 5. I know Nelson's got the graphic ready, and let's start with the top 5 teams in the National Hockey League as designated by the host of the Rod Pedersen Show, RP. Do we have the graphic, guys? Yeah, it's coming. So's Christmas.
We need the Jeopardy music. I'm just kidding.
Da, 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 da. Here we go. The number 1 team in the National Hockey League is the Florida Panthers, and that's not just me being a suck-up, even though they treat me great. The Florida Panthers have the number 1 winning percentage in the National Hockey League. They have the number 1 goal differential in the National Hockey League. They just played a fewer games than some of these other teams. The number 1 team are the Florida Panthers. The number 2 team, the New York Rangers, who, listen, I know they've got the most points in the NHL, but they're kind of new kids on the block here. Oh. New kids on the block. You're not number 1 yet, Rangers. Number 3, Tampa Bay. I just said they won for the first time in 4 games last night, so they're the number 3 team, even though they're a couple points ahead of the Panthers, and they've played more games. Number 4 is the Washington Capitals, who find themselves tied with the New York Rangers for not only the division lead, but the NHL lead. Number 4, Washington. And number 5, the Western Conference leading Vegas Golden Knights. And by the way, last night's game in Sunrise was not an NHL Stanley Cup Finals preview between the Flames and the Panthers. January 27th will be Golden Knights and Panthers here in Sunrise. I'll be there. To the bottom 5. And this was not hard. The 28th team in the NHL are the Chicago Blackhawks, the 5th worst. The 29th team, the Buffalo Sabres. They are who we thought they were. The 30th team, the Seattle Kraken, which there's not much more to be said about that. We expected this. Number 31, the Montreal Canadiens. GM change has made no change. And number 32, the Arizona Coyotes. And from what I see on SportsCenter Insider Trading, the Vultures are starting to circle the Arizona Coyotes. And they're going to be shipping, selling off parts in Arizona. So that is our top 5, bottom 5 in the National Hockey League. And before we move on to the next point, which will be football, Moose, any thoughts on that?
I'll tell you, it's really weird seeing the New York Rangers, number 2 on your list. Not that I disagree with it. It just feels so weird. Twilight Zone, man. Like, I know the Rangers have some pieces, and their goaltending's good. You know, they've got some weapons up front. They're a really good hockey team, and we kind of could see glimpses of this over the last 2 seasons. But it feels weird seeing them up there. Doesn't feel weird seeing Washington up there. Doesn't feel weird. A little weird that Florida's number 1. I mean, but we've seen that coming too, and that's been all year. But yeah, New York, that was the one that just comes off the map for me.
Highest winning percentage in the National Hockey League. Highest goal differential, I believe it's plus 31, owned by the Florida Panthers. They're number one, bro.
Yeah.
Boy, isn't it appropriate that we're going to Calgary next week where they say if you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes, it'll change. Raining all morning here. Chilly. I put on this quarter zip Dolphins top. Now I'm sweating. Send a prayer up for me, Moose. To point 3. It's Darren's top 5 in the National Football League. We got time for this. Darren's top 5 in the National Football League. You got them handy off the top of your head?
Yeah, and I think we should have a graphic for this too. Oh, we never got a graphic. Okay. Do I have them off the top of my head? I can find them in like 10 seconds, but it's pretty easy. The number one, or let's start at number 5. You're going to have to give me just 10 seconds here to pull it up.
Stop. I'm going to read the Associated Press, and then you find yours. This came out this morning from the Associated Press, the NFL's top 5. Actually, their power 32. New year, same old Green Bay Packers. The Packers dominated Minnesota on Sunday night to clinch the top seed in the NFC and home field throughout the conference playoffs. With the best record in the NFL heading into the last week of the regular season, the Packers kept the top spot in the AP's Pro 32 poll. Packers earned all 12 first-place votes. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers moved up 2 spots to number 2. I guess if you beat the Jets, that'll do that. The LA Rams climbed 2 spots to number 3. The Rams, who have won 5 in a row, can clinch the NFC West on Sunday with a victory over the San Francisco 49ers. The AFC West champion Kansas City Chiefs fell 2 spots to number 4 after a last-second loss to the Bengals. And despite having the AFC's top seed at the moment, the Tennessee Titans are at number 5 in this week's poll. The Titans they inched up a spot after routing Miami and can wrap up home field with a win at Houston on Sunday. So that's the top 5 from the Associated Press. Green Bay, Tampa Bay, LA Rams, Kansas City Chiefs, and the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Who are yours? Do they mesh? Do they jive?
Close. Pretty close. At number 5, I've got the LA Rams, who have now just quietly won 5 in a row and are playing pretty well. But their quarterback play doesn't make them as good right now as Tennessee, who are starting to get healthy. Their defense is playing at a really high level. They flexed on the Miami Dolphins, who had won, 7 in a row. So I got Tennessee ahead of L.A., but Tennessee, I don't think, would beat Tampa if they played today. Tom Brady just continues to get it done. I mean, when you have Antonio Brown going down the sidelines and walking off the field like that and all the distraction and you're losing, and then Tom says, okay, next man up, and then just goes down the field and wins, they'll be next man up. And if they get healthy, they'll be dangerous. But even though they lost, I don't think either of them are as good as Kansas City right now. I don't. I think Kansas City's defense was an issue early. They cleaned that up. Their offense wasn't getting it together, but now they've cleaned that up a little bit. And even though they lost, I think they've got too many weapons. And I think they're the second-best team, and they're all trailing Green Bay. And I think Green Bay right now is the odds-on favorite. They're the only team to clinch a bye. I think they should be the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Interesting, by the way, a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers being on Pat McAfee's show yesterday, saying the secret to his success is he stopped giving a crap. Did you see that?
How about that?
Comment from him?
How about that? I mean, he is so laid. He's always been a laid-back guy, but now he's so much more laid back. And when you dial into you and you stop worrying about everything else that's going on around you that you can't control, you become pretty powerful.
He doesn't care what you think.
That's right.
He doesn't care what we think. There's freedom in that, and I guess it comes with being the MVP of the National Football League. I'll sneak one more point in here before we break and then continue it on after the break. Fred VanVleet and the Toronto Raptors are on a nice roll. Fred had 33 points to lead Toronto past the San Antonio Spurs 129-104 Tuesday night for their 3rd straight win. It marked the 3rd consecutive game that VanVleet has scored over 30 points. Raps at Milwaukee tonight, #Fear the Deer. When we come back, we'll continue the Quick Six, and we'll sprinkle in some viewer comments as we'll get into Taco Time viewer takeover a little early. On the way, Ryan Leslie from Sportsnet Flames and ESPN Cincinnati's Moe Egger. You are watching Daytime Sports Talk, the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head. That could cause a traumatic brain injury that, depending on how severe it is, could take months to heal or leave you with long-term effects. Effects like getting debilitating headaches for the rest of your life. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
A new year means a new you. Pick up a new ride to match at Capital GMC for 2022. Custom order the perfect vehicle for you, or reserve a unit that's already on its way. Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to roll. We need your used vehicle too. We pay big and you don't even have to buy from us. Plus, our service department is always here to help. Get special pricing on name brand tires, tire storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. Start the new year right at Capital GMC in Regina.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special.
Holy, it's pretty impressive.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. RP Show continues. Episode number 467. Hey, we are going to open up the comments. Keep it fresh, like Taco Time. Taco Time brings you our viewer comments. And, of course, we award the $50 gift card each week to Taco Time for the comment of the week. Canadians love local. Go loco, eat local. Taco Time uses fresh ingredients sourced in Canada. Our beef, chicken, cheddar cheese, sour cream, and Mexi fries all come from the Great White North. And by the way, a lot of people, Moose, talking about my flow. I got to say, very happy to have Tough Tribe for Men on board. We can bring the Moose in. There's no stranger to getting compliments on his flow is Darren DuPont, but it's new for me. Tough Tribe for Men was designed to meet the unique demands of clean professional grooming. The warm scent of a gentleman's shampoo teams up with an invigorating cool peppermint conditioner. Top that off with a little beard and hair pomade to start your day feeling fresh and confident. Available today at toughtribeformen.com. and Amazon Canada. So I said that we would turn it loose to a few of the comments, but I'm jumping in a little late here. They're talking about, maybe the comments are in front of you on the board, about moving the team. Are they talking about moving the Coyotes still? Is that what they're talking about? They're saying who would own the team in Houston?
Yeah, well, is
that what I missed?
Yeah, it started, and if you see me look off here, my eyes go this way. That's where the comment board is. Yeah, it started in your top 5, bottom 5. You know, they had Arizona 32, and then they wanted to, somebody mentioned that, and then they started talking about it. So that's where the comments kind of go into a world of their own and, you know, try to decipher what they want us to talk about and what they want to just talk about amongst themselves.
I'm going to continue with a few of the comments and, show topics here. You said your featured game was the Texas Bowl. Obviously, I didn't watch any of it, but I do have the recap here. Deuce Vaughn and the Kansas State Wildcats finished a streaky season on a positive note Tuesday night with a dominant 42-20 win over injury-depleted LSU in the Texas Bowl in Houston. Vaughn, a sophomore running back and first-team All-American, as an all-purpose player, rushed for 146 yards on 21 carries. He scored 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing, and 1 receiving. I won't go any more into the story than that, other than, did you watch it? Was it on Canadian television last night, the Texas Bowl?
It was not on Canadian television, but I did watch it. So, you know where I watched it. And it was tough for LSU because they had like 39 players. They had no scholarship quarterback, meaning no quarterback that was recruited via a scholarship. So they were down the depth chart. They tried to opt out of the game, but they opted out of a bowl game last year. So they couldn't opt out 2 years in a row. So, yeah, it was a tough one for LSU.
I know that we have photos ready to go. So, Clark, tell me when you got them ready to go. The weekend photo album. We weren't ready to air them yesterday, all of us collectively, but we are today. The weekend Great Western Brewing Company photo album. It's kind of a holiday photo album. I'm interested to see what everybody's are. These are mine. This was at the mall yesterday in Boca Raton. That's my Jeep on the left. 2 others just migrated towards mine. It was like we had an impromptu meeting of the club. Jeep season. And then I had a note stuck in my console. Weird, but cool. This was walking up to the game last night at FLA Live Arena. # no filter Moose. Does that not just look majestic to you, the host of the home of the Florida Panthers?
Seriously? Like,
I was walking up to the rink.
I think that's so cool. Such a great shot and great place to go watch hockey.
I want to spend more time on that game, plus the Oilers Leafs tonight in a minute, but moving on. These come from you, Clark tells me. Tell me your photos here, man.
Yeah, that's my nephew, Otto. I bought him some safety gear so he can go and work with my brother out in the shop, some goggles and the earphones and the noise canceling, the gloves. So he couldn't wait to get those on. And this was my New Year's Eve. I whipped up, I like to cook. So we made some steak, a little hors d'oeuvre with mushrooms, and that's a dark chocolate mousse I made from scratch. So that was
how about that?
Nice.
Little New Year's Eve, and then we got a photo came in from a viewer over the holidays. This was Eric on Twitter. He sent this in. He was there with Cordell Patterson of the Atlanta Falcons. That's a selfie. He's from Saskatoon, and he wants us to know that yellow hoodie underneath is a Saskatoon Blades hoodie that he was wearing at the game in Buffalo. So that was his holiday.
Sweet. I have the same one. I have the same bunny hug. Cool. Thank you, Eric, for sending that in. While we're at it, by the way, the photo albums for Great Western Brewing Company, extra smooth, extra refreshing. Find Original 16 at a store near you today, including all over Calgary and Southern Alberta, where we will be broadcasting for 2 weeks beginning Monday at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Michael Wynn's watching on Game Plus television right now in Winnipeg, Moose. You remember he came to our, what did we call it, our meet and greet at Hooters?
Yeah.
In August when we were there? Michael wants to know what we thought of season 4 of Cobra Kai. Haven't watched it yet. Waiting to tuck into it. But listen, we're going to talk about Yellowstone for a second. So spoiler alert, everybody cover your ears if you don't want to hear about the finale of Yellowstone, which aired Sunday night on Paramount. I was disappointed. Have you got around to watching it yet? You haven't even watched it. You said you were going to.
I know.
You said you were going to watch.
I was going to watch it last night, so it's on the docket after the Leafs and Oiler game tonight, unfortunately. But anyways, you can spoil it. I'll be fine.
Well, I already told you on the phone the other day that I was highly disappointed in the season finale of Yellowstone. That's all I'm going to say. The season was great.
Oh, yeah.
But the finale, nowhere near as explosive as the finale of season 3 of Yellowstone.
No,
Have you tucked into Cobra Kai yet?
It toned down at the end of the season a little bit. I thought it was going to be a little more violent towards the end of the year. It got a little more emotional in Yellowstone, but still really good. Cobra Kai I haven't tucked into yet for season 4, so maybe we'll do that over our time in Calgary and we can talk about it on the air.
Okay. I said that we would get into viewer comments earlier, and I'm just having a slight tech issue here today. Trust me, or bear with me. I'm old. Zach in Calgary watching says, Rod, do you plan on going to MRU at all in Calgary? That's Mount Royal University, my alma mater. I may stop by there. I've been told that my name is on their wall of fame. How about that?
We got to check that out.
But I've yet to see it. So maybe we'll pop by MRU. I'll take you by my old dorm. 74D3. 74D3 was my dorm at Mount Royal. How about that?
Wow.
Can't believe I remember that.
Well, hey.
Especially with the brain cells that I killed.
Well, same here, 05. So if you're in the Saskatoon area and you want to do the star map thing, 64 Gray Ave was the first condo that we lived in, like 7 guys.
Mike Horrigan's watching in the 905. He says, great photos, Darren and Eric. Go Leafs, go. What about mine?
Oh, Rod?
Well, from John in Edmonton says, is Jeff the Stamps fan going to be a guest in Calgary when you're there? I don't know. That'll be up to Jeff the Stamps fan, but I did have a Flames fan ask me if there will be a live studio audience. Flames fan asked me that last night for our live RP shows from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, and I said, honestly, don't know. I just show up and talk. Do you know any of the details, Moose, of whether or not there'll be a live studio audience for the RP show next week in Calgary?
I've got an important call this afternoon, actually, sealing up some of the details, and I've got some ideas in place. But if we're allowed to, from Alberta Health and Safety and the public health in Alberta, if we're allowed to, we are going to do some meet and greets, and I've got a couple cool little neat ideas planned. So stay tuned for that. Monday's show, obviously, we're going to get there. We're going to get settled, but then we'll unveil some plans for a meet and greet.
Okay. And speaking of me being old, before I get back into the actual serious talk, and we're still waiting for the top comment of the week, by the way, for Taco Time. Folks, you got 2 3/4 shows left. We'll award it on Friday. I was in the mall yesterday, and I had to buy a watch. I told you I foobarred my Fitbit.
Yeah.
And so I had to go buy a new watch, and I was looking at this one with the black face, and then I was looking at one with rose gold. And you know this story because I called you, but guy, typical South Florida guy, is looking over my shoulder. He kind of looked a little like Marshall Ferguson, the CFL on TSN play-by-play guy, former voice of the Ticats. Kind of what he looked like. He's like, bro, buy both. They're only $100. And I'm like, trying to declutter my life, but thanks. And I said, and I think the rose gold one might be a woman's. And he goes, listen, I know people of your generation wouldn't want to wear rose gold or pink, but who cares, man? It's a new generation. Wear it. It's cool. You're cool. Look good on you. In the end, I just bought one.
That's like a Steven Tyler thing. Aerosmith, lead singer, he always wore women's shirts because he just thought they hung on his body a little bit better and a little more flashy. He was cool.
I had no idea. Idea.
Yeah.
About that. That'll be my thing, wearing women's watches. How about that? Jeff, the Stamps fan, just says, what's that? I just heard my name. Are my fans asking for me? Hey. Do we want to be that show that brings fans on the set? Do we want to be that? I'm not sure that we want to be that. Maybe. John in Edmonton says, what do you guys think of hockey moving to the Summer Olympics? Gary Bettman wants it. This is an evolving story, but let me just say, Gary Bettman's a powerful man, but just because Gary Bettman wants it doesn't mean that it's going to happen, and I can't see hockey being moved to the Summer Olympics. That's all I want to spend on that in terms of time. I do want to spend a little more time on the Flames and Panthers game last night, which I watched at FLA Live Arena. And Now, you said you were impressed with my preview of the game yesterday where I talked about the fact that the Flames are the number one road team in the NHL. The Panthers are the number one home team in the NHL. Isn't it always special? Tonight's Edmonton-Toronto game will be special, too. When you've got cross-conference play, because you're used to playing within your own conference, for the most, certainly your own division, let alone conference. And last night, when the Flames were like literally trying to run the Panthers out of the rink, what, not dirty, but just a heavy game, as they say. It was really cool to watch the Panthers just kind of stand back and just kind of get their wits about them before they said, wait a minute. We can play this way too. And I literally have never seen the Panthers play as hard as they did all year long. And I've watched just about every one of their home games. That Alexander Barkov, man, Darren, you got to get down here and watch him play live. He's got the most deceptive, dirty shot in the National Hockey League as far as I'm concerned. This guy is a man-child. He's a beast. Probably the most underrated star in the NHL. And furthermore, people were writing me on Twitter because I posted some photos from the game. They're like, is there attendance restrictions in Florida? Because that's not a very good crowd. I'm like, it's because the Calgary Flames are here. And that's nothing against the Calgary Flames because the Florida Panthers aren't a draw out west, as you know. Mm-hmm. But it's not a geographical regional rivalry. But dagnammit, do you expect the Oilers and Leafs to stand back and chuck them like the Flames and Panthers did last night? Or can they with McDavid not playing?
I do expect it, but not in a physical way. I expect it to be more of a chances here, chances there, goals, shots, that type of explosive hockey, not in a physical way. I don't think either of those two teams bring it in the same way that like a Calgary would. And now we learn a Florida would. And that's not what we're used to seeing from the Florida Panthers, right? So it's a new age of hockey in Florida where they can stand up physically and go toe-to-toe with the Calgary Flames like they did and have the high-end scoring punch to put 6 in the back of the net. I do think tonight's game is one on the calendar because you got, maybe Canada's most exciting team in the East and Canada's most exciting team in the West because of McDavid and Draisaitl. It's always fun. Those two fan bases hate each other. So tonight's game will be really good. And after last night's game, getting back-to-back great NHL nights is a treat for the fans.
Moose, pardon me. I'll see you back here in hour 2.
Sounds good.
Sportsnet Flames host Ryan Leslie joins us live next. It's daytime sports talk coming to you from South Florida and the NHL's Bermuda Triangle on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special.
Holy, it's pretty impressive.
A new year means a new you. Pick up a new ride to match at Capital Ford for 2022. Custom order the perfect vehicle for you, or check out our in-stock F-150s on the lot right now. Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to roll. We need your used vehicle too. We pay big and you don't even have to buy from us. Plus, our service department is always here to help. Get special pricing on name brand tires, tire storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. Start the new year right at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
RP Show brought to you in part by Bronco Plumbing and Heating. Call us today and book your duct cleaning. Breaking news from the National Hockey League today. Connor McDavid will not play tonight for the Edmonton Oilers at the Toronto Maple Leafs due to COVID protocol. Last night here in Sunrise, Florida, it wasn't the game of the year, but it was close. The Florida Panthers defeating the Calgary Flames 6-2, despite being outshot by Calgary 49-45. It was a whale of a game. And if you watched it on Sportsnet Flames, you saw this guy, Ryan Leslie, the host. He joins us today from the Great White North. And I would love to know, hey, nice to see you, man. Happy New Year, by the way. How are you doing?
Same to you. It's great to be with you. Sorry, my phone's moving here. You know what? It's weird here. I'm in Toronto in studio. Everything's locked down. And so, in Calgary, it's minus 40. And in Florida, it's probably 30 degrees. And I'm kind of in Toronto, just kind of waiting to see how it all unfolds here. But yeah, wild game last night.
It was wild. By the way, it'll be plus 10 in Calgary next week when the RP Show rolls in, broadcasting live from the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. And your invitation is served, Ryan. So what was your take of how that game went down last night?
Well, my take, Roddy, was the fact that you fanboyed it right up, videotaping Matthew Tkachuk as we would expect. I told you loved him. At first you thought you didn't like him. Now you're recording him. You're watching him stretch, keeping your professional eye on all things Calgary Flames. And to see you tweeting about how they're better than your beloved Oilers, I mean, I really could not believe what an about-face you have made publicly about professing your love as a Calgary Flame fan. That's what I took away from the whole thing.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about the game, clearly. By the way, some fan came after me saying I should get out of Matthew Tkachuk's face. Right. They said I should get out of Tkachuk's face. I'm like, there was a window between us, by the way. Okay, there was a window between us. I was nowhere near him. Anyways, yeah.
Hey, I'd be happy to get something signed for you if you like.
Well, we'll talk. We'll talk next week. Listen, Ryan, get to it. Get to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was a game that I don't imagine Daryl Sutter is still very happy with. There were some positives for sure, but there were the takeaways, and I know he made a comment after the game about there is no postseason if you play like that. That was a little too loosey-goosey for him. I think we as fans, and I think a lot of people from the outside looked at that game early on anyhow. That first 20 minutes had a little bit of everything. It was physical. It was end-to-end. There were chances. There were goals. But the second period, I think things kind of tightened up a little bit. It wasn't as entertaining. And then it just kind of opened up again. And, I just think that's nowhere close to the style of game Daryl wants his team to play. But there was certainly entertaining moments to it. And, if you're just watching the Florida Panthers for the first time, you see how fast they are. You see how good they can be. They've got a goaltender who's playing really well at home. I think he's 12-1, 12-1-0, I think, at home now, Bobrovsky. And so you see, and you mentioned Barkov, I heard earlier on your show. Boy, he is a man-child. Guys are bouncing off him. He's just dangerous and underrated. So there's a lot to like about Florida, and I think it was neat coming into that game where it was sort of like, hey, is this a good measuring stick for Calgary, their game? And I think there was some talk about whether or not maybe it's a good measuring stick for Florida as well. So powerhouse, a really strong Western team coming into a really strong Eastern team's house, and we kind of saw what happened. And full marks to Florida. And I would imagine Daryl will have things a little different for the game against the Stanley Cup champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
You know, Ryan, we expect, I think, scrums after the whistle and face washes in the BOA, Oilers Flames. But last night, as you saw, after every whistle in the first period, there were scrums. And they weren't love taps. When you got cross-conference play like that, I was a little surprised. Why do you think there was as much angst in the early going between these two teams?
I didn't read too much into it. I think, I don't think you're hyping it up either. I just think that's a good part of it. And there was some juice for sure. There was an attempt to run Johnny Gaudreau that didn't go over well by Radko Gudas. And then that drew a response, and that kind of set the tone early on. You also have Blake Coleman, who knows that team pretty well from his time in Tampa. And he was, I think, Calgary's best player. He was very dialed in. He was getting his nose dirty, and that was great to see. I loved it. I just thought that component, I want to see more of that. And I don't know. I think maybe it's just about knowing how good Florida is. There's some familiarity over there. Obviously, Ryan Lomberg, the former Flame, there's some good relationships between he and members of the Flames. I think everybody just wanted to put their best foot forward. And again, full marks to Florida, who just kind of prevailed and pulled away, and all kinds of shots, some bad blood, and and I kind of like those games, Rod, myself, in terms of if you're going to lose, those are the losses where the next day the coach certainly has the ear of the team. It wasn't one like, we got away with one, and we don't really need to change it. They're going to have to go to work today, and they're going to have to change a lot, and everybody's going to have to be a lot sharper. So sometimes a good ass kicking is what you need.
Ryan Lomberg, the Lamborghini, as they call him down here in South Florida. Did you guys call him that in his 12 games in Calgary at all?
No. But, he was in the system, and full marks to Calgary for finding him. And, that just was a tough one to say goodbye to. This is a character guy who gives you everything he's got. Spoke with him for about half an hour on the phone yesterday. I just love the kid, and he just gives you such an honest effort every night. And he's a great, infectious guy. And he was talking just about their room and how guys like Patrick Hornquist, who had a heck of a game last night, really has helped change that culture there. And they've got great pieces. They love playing for Andrew Brunette, former Owen Sound player. No big deal. And everything's going, the right way for Florida. I'm just so happy for Ryan to, he's got a baby on the way. And life is great for him, and I'm really happy for him. Didn't get a chance to see Sam Bennett, who I know is also enjoying his time down there. Hopefully we'll see him when Florida comes up to Calgary. But it's just going right for that group, and there's a lot of good players and a couple of really good guys on that roster.
Pretty easy team to like, for sure. Pretty interesting and revealing comment by Daryl Sutter after the game, the Jolly Rancher, saying, in typical Daryl style, that team's at another level. Do you think the Flames can get at that level this year, Ryan?
Oh, yeah, I do. And I think they've been there. They've been on the road, Roddy, a lot, as you know, and they've got 2 massive trips out east. They went out to the West Coast. They just came back from 18, 19 days of the COVID pause, and you go into Seattle and you go into Chicago, and you ease back into it in terms of the strength of schedule and getting your game, knocking some rust off. But we've seen Calgary at that level. They've gone in and beaten some powerhouse teams in this conference. So, yeah, I'm not worried about that. I mean, Jacob Markstrom's done the job, and I think Johnny Gaudreau's playing out of his mind right now, and Elias Lindholm's been sensational. You'd like to get the secondary scoring going a little bit more, and you saw some of that last night with Blake Coleman scoring his first in 8. But Milan Lucic has been getting it done as well. So secondary scoring, if it can kind of continue, I think they're a team that can play at that level, has played at that level, and probably is going to get back to that level at some point. Whether or not they are considered the best team in the West all season remains to be seen, but there's certainly a team that has shown flashes and glimpses of being that caliber of team.
Wow, very impressive. Let's not forget they did put 49 shots on Bob last night. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Calgary in person in their barn. Do you have a take on the arena deal being officially scrapped, by the way?
It's just so disheartening. I try not to wade into sides because everybody's got an opinion without really knowing about some of the conversations that go on. I just feel bad for Flames fans because they're kind of sitting there going, what else can be thrown their way? If it isn't a shutdown, if it isn't their team on a pause, if it isn't the arenas being quiet, if it isn't now the arena news. If there's a fan base that deserves a little bit of good luck, it's the Flames fan base. And that's just the honest truth. I mean, I know everybody's going through everything, but just as we stay in context as far as hockey and just kind of getting dealt a tough hand, Flames fans could use a little break, and it's freezing out there. And, it's just one of these things where they could use a bit of good luck right now. So hopefully this thing gets back on track. I'm optimistic it will, but as far as the inner workings of it, I just feel bad for everybody.
Well, they've got a great hockey team. They've got the RP show coming to Calgary beginning Monday. And most of all, they've got you. You're my favorite. Ryan, thank you. Stay safe out there.
They've got you as their number one fan, and we're going to work on getting you maybe some Matthew Tkachuk pajamas, or maybe a face paint with a big flaming C on your face when you come to town. I don't know what it is, but it's a better color scheme than what you got on right now.
I'll wear it. Thanks, Ryan.
Great to see you, pal. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Sportsnet Flames, Ryan Leslie. He is outstanding. Viewer takeover next for Taco Time. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, YouTube, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
A new year means a new you. Pick up a new ride to match at Capital Ford for 2022. Custom order the perfect vehicle for you, or check out our in-stock F-150s on the lot right now. Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to roll. We need your used vehicle too. We pay big, and you don't even have to buy from us. Plus, our service department is always here to help. Get special pricing on name brand tires, tire storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. Start the new year right at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And it is Taco Time Viewer Takeover. Taco Time's signature hot sauce is made in-house daily. I'm going to try and sneak in a sports update if I can. But first, we've been doing Viewer Takeover all day. We started it early. Flames coming off my phone here. Listen, if you in Calgary are looking for something to be happy about, be happy that you're not the Edmonton Oilers. Ryan Rishaug tweeting, the TSN Edmonton bureau chief, love a good quote, but it's Dave Tippett's job to manage the tire fire happening. This is from Ryan Rishaug moments ago, pointing a finger at Mikko Koskinen the way he did, while Oliver True was too aggressive an approach to take while the Heat was so cranked up on all. Then he doubled down the next day, adding that he didn't like the third goal either. That is when Koskinen fired back in the Finnish media, defending himself, criticizing the team's offense, however, was a mistake. He's not doing his job well enough to point any fingers at anyone else. That's what's going on in Edmonton today. Well, add to that the fact that Connor McDavid's not going to play tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And wow, I was a little surprised by Dave Tippett's comments after the game in New York the other night. The normally reserved and stoic Dave Tippett did point the finger at his goalie. You just wonder if Dave's feeling the heat. Sports update. The WHL announced that Victoria Royals forward Bailey Peach has been named the player of the week. He led all WHL skaters with 13 points, including a 7-point outing against the Vancouver Giants. And Victoria Royals goalies Campbell Arnold and Tyler Palmer are splitting the Goalie of the Week award. Arnold was 2-0 with a 2.00 goals against average, while Palmer turned aside 89 shots over 119 minutes, including a 50-save shutout. That's from the Dub. Novak Djokovic will defend his Austrian Open title after receiving a medical exemption to travel to Melbourne. Djokovic hasn't revealed if he's vaccinated against the Rona. Last minute of play in hour one. No rest for the Toronto Raptors. Toronto visits the Milwaukee Bucks tonight after earning a 129-104 home victory over San Antonio last night. This sports update for Baldur's Rec Room. Check out our brand new line of games for the Tap Brewhouse and drive-through liquor store. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. A little taste of what's to come in hour two. Young Hoggy is watching on YouTube. He says, I wish more games were like Florida and Calgary last night. Fast-paced, entertaining, and over in a timely fashion. I agree. I was home by 10. From James Henderson says he's cleaning his driveway and listening to the RP show. We'll check in with all of you all when we come back for hour two on Game Plus right after this.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall. Or you might sprain your wrist, or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Hey, Dawn.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit AuroraRecoveryCenter.com for more information today.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to RodPedersenShop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at RodPedersenShop.com.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Hashtag dad advice from Jim Peterson, my dad, who said, cheer as loud as you want for your own team. Don't ever boo the other team. Don't ever boo the other team. And to boo your own team? Unthinkable. And the world of James William Peterson. So, A, I would never do it. B, with the cost of those things? Are you kidding me?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Here we go, everybody. We are rocking and rolling our way into hour 2 of the RP Show. Apologies to those watching on Game Plus television. Some technical issues there, I understand, but we are still jiving here on YouTube Live as we reset in hour 2. It is brought to you, of course, by Great Western's Original 16 beer. Our Original 16 beers are found across Western Canada, and if you're lucky, there might even be one in your fridge. I know there are in ours, in the bunker, in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. That's where we find the Moose here as we open up hour 2. Moose, how you doing, man? What's on your mind here as we set sail in hour 2?
Oh, boy. I can tell you more exciting things are falling at our feet for our trip to Calgary just in the last 30 minutes. Can't tell you more than that. I'll tell you after the show, and I'll tell all of you watching probably Friday. But more exciting things have happened and more things on our to-do list in Calgary.
Oh, good. Well, I'm very excited about that. But we can't belabor things in the post-show meeting because I got to go get a COVID test today because, as you just said, I'm returning to Canada. And I do have a cold. It's the odd, I know, right? It's the odd thing about looking around when it's like 26, 27 degrees and sunny here in South Florida, and you're thinking, is it a summer cold? Is it a winter cold? What month is it? What season is it? You know?
Yeah.
Anyways, the breaking news on the day is that Connor McDavid will not play for the Edmonton Oilers tonight at the Toronto Maple Leafs. And terrible news for the Oilers. And I don't know if you probably weren't catching the end of hour one because of this news that you have. But Ryan Rishaug just went on a Twitter rant, really, kind of ripping Dave Tippett for ripping Mikko Koskinen. Have you followed what's gone on here in the last 24 hours with the Oilers? That Koskinen went in a finished paper to defend himself, and I think threw shade at Tippett. My God, have things gone south in Edmonton fast.
Well, and it's not about who's right and who's wrong and where the blame is. Usually when you have fights like this internally, it's because you're frustrated and things aren't going well, and they're getting worse. And tonight will be interesting to see, winning can hide things for a little bit. But again, it's not a good situation. The fans are upset. The media's not happy. The team's not happy. They're not playing well. It's getting ugly.
I think you get angrier when you don't see something like this coming. When the Oilers were junk for 10 years and what they've lovingly called the decade of darkness from 06 to 2016, you just expected them to be bad.
Yeah.
And this year they start, what were they, 9-1 and then 13-5, best start in franchise history. And now this, 2-10-2. Yeah, I can see why they're so upset. And this tonight doesn't help. By the way, Thomas Matthews is watching on YouTube. He says, thanks for all you do at the RP show for the CFL and Canadian football in general. Listening from London, Ontario. Hashtag Oski Wee Wee.
How about that?
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas, for watching, because without you, there would be no us. Jen from the Four Seasons writes in and says, the pressure is on Holland to find something. Yeah, but I think something should have been done long before now. That's the one missing piece that I don't understand, that they actually thought that Mike Smith, Mikko Koskinen, and Stuart Skinner could get it done, because a blind man could see that that they can't get it done.
Yeah.
Patrolman Pete writes in and says, from Winnipeg, he says, I guess the Flames owners should save up their money and build a new arena if the current one is that bad. And that's where I need to check out on the Flames arena discussion, because I don't understand. You know how I operate. Penny saved, penny earned. You don't spend the money till the grain's in the bin. That's all my whole thing. When they were throwing money in the air in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s in Calgary, why didn't they put it into a new rink then? Probably because they're thinking, the Saddledome was built in 86. It's a great arena, which it is. And all of a sudden, because Gary Bettman says this rink is the oldest in the NHL, which is actually fact. It's not just because Bettman says it, but he says this is substandard, and if you don't get a new rink, get a new rink or else. Why do we have to listen to Gary? It's still a great facility, Darren. Like, is this the next step now? We're can't say Seattle Flames anymore. The Houston Flames? Is that the next step in this?
It could be. I mean, at the end of the day, the NHL needs all of its franchises to make money. The more money they make, that's how you keep the business rolling. Eventually, if a team like Calgary or Winnipeg or Ottawa or, you name it, any market doesn't generate revenue, then yeah, you're going to have to look at, is there a better market to generate revenue? Is Calgary in that position? I don't know. I haven't looked close enough at what their books look like, their attendance issues, if they're having them. You'd have to look at that. Is the building a reason why people aren't showing up, and why you're not getting enough fans in the building and not turning enough money, and why players don't want to play there? And if that's becoming an issue and the other owners are like, we don't like to subsidize this, they're not pulling their weight, then Gary Bettman will say, okay, let's explore Houston.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, how anybody is operating in any sense of normality in this COVID climate, the fact that they're even playing is a shock to me. And we're going to expect they're going to build a new arena? Like, what interesting time for this to all happen. Anyways, sprinkling in viewer comments as we go. From Alan, the intern, the Asian sensation. He writes in on the 902 line, why is it so bad to insult a taco? Because tacos have fillings too.
Approved.
It's not bad.
I like it.
It's not bad.
What was the one from Carlos in Indianapolis yesterday? It wasn't that great if I can't remember it.
I know, and I wasn't on the air for it, so I missed it completely.
Oh, Clark says he's got it. He's going to throw it up on the screen. This is from...
Okay.
Oh, he's going to put it in the comments, not on the screen, I don't think.
Oh,
Anyways, we'll continue. And so I've got 18 million windows open here right now. So if we get to it, we get to it. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in. He says, it's going to be a shock for you next week in Calgary if it's anywhere near minus 30. Good luck and have fun in Calgary, my friend. Thank you, Wayne. But you, Darren, could have been a weatherman in another life, have looked at the forecast, and it's actually looking quite acceptable.
It's looking more than acceptable, Rod. I mean, we're going to go from minus 30. I think it's minus 25 on the weekend. And then all of a sudden, we're going to roll into Calgary, and it's going to get above zero, even as far as plus 10 or 12 Celsius. So it's like the weather gods are like, oh, Rod's coming to town. Let's clear all this up here, and let's make sure we roll out the red carpet and make sure it's nice and warm for your arrival.
I have no idea what this announcement is or whatever this thing is that you have for us to do in Calgary, but I do know that we have a major announcement coming up from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. And I'm not going to, it pertains with us in partnership, but I just think we should be getting around to announcing that pretty soon. Maybe we'll do it next week when we're there.
Sounds good.
Clark, can you open up the text line and throw the picture on the screen from Dale? He's watching in Winnipeg. And he writes in and he says, Jeep camping with my son, Jack. Off the grid. Great show as always, by the way. Happy New Year, all. From Dale and Jack in Winnipeg. If you get a chance, Clark, to open that up. Clearly, he's not camping in the winter because this is a summertime photo, but that is one gorgeous rig he's got. And Clark says he's got it. So this just came in on the text line, the 902 text line, which I think we got to get sponsored. It's not the Taco Time text line. Look at that thing. Woo! Can you zoom out on that, Clark, and just show that? Are you able to zoom out and show that there's somewhere in the woods around Winnipeg?
Yeah.
As much as you can. That thing
like
is a beauty.
A magazine photo. It's got all the lights on there. It's like, and you get lost in the woods. Like, that's pretty cool.
We could pull that thing up in front of me, and that we could use that for lights instead of with what I got jigged here right now. But I'm telling you, yesterday I was in the parking lot at the mall. This happens all the time. You've seen it happen with Big Bird. And I came out yesterday, and there was a note in my console with a tiny little rubber duck tied to the note. And it said, hey, sweet Jeep, you're now part of the South Florida Jeep Club. Put this photo on and hashtag blah, 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 blah. So pretty cool. Zach in Calgary says it's plus 12 on Monday.
How about that?
How awesome is that?
Looking forward to it. It'll actually it'll make for a great weather for another afternoon jaunt to Banff at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah. By the way, the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is it's the bracket final. We ran a bracket over the last week when we were off the air. Who's got the most annoying fan base in the National Hockey League? The two finalists were, not surprisingly, Montreal and Toronto. I have no argument on that. And running away on Twitter with 79% of the vote is the Toronto Maple Leafs, the most annoying fan base in the National Hockey League. I'd vote for them, and I'm surrounded by them on this show. The co-host, Darren DuPont, who's also the president, CEO, and owner, and producer Clark. And I'll just say this, if you want to bring Darren back in. Oh, it is 1:11 Eastern, 11:11 Mountain. Pay attention to what you're thinking about, Darren. And walk through that opportunity portal, okay?
I was
Here's
thinking
my
about
take.
being an annoying Toronto Maple Leaf fan. I don't know how I walked through that.
You are
portal,
one.
But
you've already walked. You're through it. Anyways, here's my take on that. Montreal Canadiens fans are annoying, but they know it, and they don't care. And I got a hella lot of respect for that. Toronto Maple Leafs fans have no idea how annoying they are. They don't even think that they are, which makes them even more annoying. Like, I can respect
Bingo.
Montreal. They're like, we're crazy. You've been around a bunch of them, right? When we went to the Stanley Cup final, you're in a house full of them.
Yep.
And they don't care. And I respect that.
Yeah.
Can I, like, why do you think that you Leafs fans are the most annoying? Why do you think that it is? Why do you think you're perceived as the most annoying?
I think because it's in everybody's face. I think that's the biggest thing. And it's a large fan base. We know that. I mean, obviously, Hockey Night in Canada had a lot to do with that. And being on television, being in the media has a lot to do with having a large fan base. So if you want a trick on how to get a big fan base, put your product out there to everybody. But I think that's it. I think it's because it's out there, and it's like, we got to look at these guys again. We got to look at these guys. We got to hear from these guys again. We got to hear. And it becomes really annoying when it's shoved down your throat every day, especially when you're not a Leaf fan. So when every other Leaf, if it was the Oilers that were on TV every single day and all, right, they would be the most annoying fan base. But I think it's because of volume and the amount that we see them.
Yeah, so wrong. In typical annoying fashion, completely not self-aware of why you guys are annoying. It's because every single year, I see Clark saying it in his TikTok videos. This is our year. Every year.
Approved.
And you want to rub it in people's faces all year long when you're having a good regular season. Come on, you have to admit that you do. Well, you don't, but most of the other Leafs fans do.
Yeah.
And then when you do a face plant in the playoffs, you go cry in the corner. You don't even let us mock you.
Well, that's an issue.
That's what it is.
That's an issue with every fan base. When you haven't won anything.
You're not the Yankees.
When you haven't won anything and you jump on other people when you win a little bit because you just want to have that upper hand because you see other teams that have won proudly wearing their championship merchandise and the rings and all that. And you want that. So you think being in first place at Christmas time is enough to be able to walk the walk, and it's not. It's a real long game. You have to actually win it at the end of the year in order to be able to stand at the top of the mountain and wear the gear and be proud and talk a little trash, which is why I hate post-game trash talk, right? But I know I'm alone.
John in Edmonton writes in, watching on YouTube, he says, when you're in Calgary, are you going to go to a Flames game, Hitman game, Roughneck game? Yeah, buddy. I'm going to do it all because that's my MO. I'm doing it here. I'm going to do it there. I can't wait. And I couldn't be happier with the way that Calgary's treating it. From BW, watching on YouTube, that's the initials, BW, says Calgary has the highest population of Americans outside of the USA. The Flames are going nowhere. The Saddle Dome roof is the problem. There's concerts that can't set up oversized stages. And he writes 11-11. Fair, but I hope he's right. I hope above all of that the Flames are going nowhere. But you can see how it's going to become just a political football that already has been a political football. Is that football game politically over? You know what I mean? Like, where do we go from here? Or do we just sit there? Listen, Nassau County Coliseum rotted for decades until they got the place that they have now. Is that what's going to happen with the Saddle Dome? The team doesn't go anywhere unless the owners want to move them, which I don't think they're going to want to move them. I'm just kind of sitting here going, where do we go from here? You know?
Well, you can't have a single entity venue. You can't have a venue that's just there for hockey. It has to be multi-purpose in order to justify the cost and be, important for the city and all of that. I struggle with it too because I'm like, from a business perspective, I get all of that. I'd like a different sized rink. I'd like a bigger roof. I'd like it to be more generalized so it can fit more things. But I'm like, it's like the last great arena. Right? It's the last one that has character and has that uniqueness and is so Calgary. People go up to the Calgary Tower and look around like, that's the Saddle Dome. Not there's a building and there's another building. It's like, that's so identifiable with Calgary. And it's like, I wish we did more of that. I wish architecture was more of a passionate thing than just a practical thing. I wish it was more passionate and more like it was. We're not gonna have that, and I understand that too.
Jack in Vulcan, Alberta watching says, Moose just told the CFL how to get fans in the stands. I don't know what he's referring to. Maybe I wasn't listening. Well, I might have to re-ask you how to do that. Craig at the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto says, You would think with petroleum headquarters in Calgary to fund the new arena and football stadium. Well, Craig, oil's kind of taken it in the grapes for the last 15 years too. And like I say, when they were throwing money and wiping their butt with it, they should have built a new rink then. And a football stadium is the flea on the elephant's ass out of the whole thing. They didn't do that either.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll just pause and come back with more. And by the way, coming up here in hour 2, brought to you by Great Western Original 16 Beer, Moe Egger of Cincinnati's ESPN 1530. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might sprain your wrist, or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorkSafeSask.ca.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Okay, we're back, and just ahead of bringing the Moose back in, here's the breaking news from this Wednesday in the form of a sports update. The Edmonton Oilers announced Wednesday morning that captain Connor McDavid, forward Derek Ryan, and defenseman Tyson Barrie have all entered the NHL's COVID-19 protocol before tonight's game against the Maple Leafs in Toronto. McDonald and Ryan were held out of practice Tuesday after returning positive tests as the team awaited results of further testing. McDavid had tested negative on Monday before playing in the Oilers' 4-1 loss against the Rangers in New York. The Oilers also placed Nuge on injured reserve. He'd been out day-to-day since Saturday with an undisclosed injury. Goalie Mike Smith is set to return from an undisclosed injury, and he will start tonight. Mike Smith starting for the Oilers at Toronto tonight. Leafs center Austin Matthews told reporters he planned on playing tonight. After skating this morning, Matthews had been held out of Toronto's previous 2 practices for precautionary reasons. An abundance of caution, as they say, after testing positive for COVID-19 on a rapid antigen test on Monday. Elsewhere in the NHL, the Chicago Blackhawks acquired forward Sam Lafferty in a trade with the Pittsburgh Penguins this morning in exchange for forward Alex Nylander. Lafferty is slated to join the slumping Blackhawks in Arizona. He has no goals and 2 assists in 10 games with the Pens this season, and Nylander has spent this season with Rockford of the American Hockey League. That's what we call a friends and family trade. Somebody wrote in here earlier, breaking news, Lafferty for Nylander. Nobody cares except for friends and family of the player in this trade. And the Tennessee Titans have moved closer to having the 2020 AP NFL Offensive Player of the Year back, opening the 21-day window this morning for Derrick Henry to start practicing. Coach Mike Vrabel said Monday that a decision was expected by midweek on Henry's status, and that decision came this morning before practice that Henry had been activated. He turned 28 yesterday. He broke his right foot on Halloween and had surgery November 2nd to repair his 5th metatarsal. The sports update for dubnetwork.ca, your number one source for Western Hockey League breaking news and information, and for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, now with 8 amazing flavors, including the new almond mocha. RP Show viewers get 20% off with the promo code RP Show. Order yours now at g2gbars.ca. We bring the Moose back in from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. And just on the, Derrick Henry news, were you worried that you weren't going to see him for the rest of the year?
Originally I was. And then, you started seeing reports that he could be back sooner. This isn't going to be season ending. There's hope. As soon as they say there's hope he can return and it's a pain thing, I was more confident that he would come back. Did I expect him this soon? Probably not. But it's good news. He's been running around, supposed to be on the field, I think, for practice today and designated for return. I wouldn't expect him to play this weekend, even if he's activated. I would expect him to play in the playoffs. If they win this weekend, that'll give him 2 more weeks of rest because they'll earn the first round bye. So it's very exciting that Derrick Henry's poised to return.
902 text line is open, as you heard the lady say coming out of the break. Text Rod Pedersen at 902-518-3033. John in Edmonton, who I may nickname the COVID police, has texted the 902 line and says, update, if you go to a game in Calgary, you can't eat or drink. Sorry, Rod. No food and drink consumption in seated audience settings or during intermissions in facilities with 500 plus attendees. Thank you, John. I'll sleep better tonight with that information. Here's a story for you. Not assigning blame to anybody at all. As usual, I'm at fault.
Okay.
But last night at FLA Live Arena, I went down from the press box to visit my buddy Thad, who is the manager of the Beach House restaurant where we broadcast several live shows of the RP show. Thad, he's a beauty. And I got stopped by security. Uh-oh, where are you going? And I said, I'm just going over here to visit my buddy. And he goes, let me see your pass. No problem. Pull my pass out, show him. He goes, you're not supposed to be down here. Supposed to stay in the press box. And I'm like, you know me, Darren, my mind moves 1 million miles a minute.
Yes.
I'm thinking, nowhere, I'm thinking, not saying, nowhere on this pass does it say I have to stay in the press box. Nowhere. Secondarily thinking, you're the first guy all year that said that, but I didn't say any of it. So Thad texts me and he's like, I saw you got stopped by security there. That sucks. So that happened last night. So note to people, when you end up in a brush with authority, just take it and zip it. There's your life lesson. How do you feel about that?
That's a great life lesson. You know, in that moment, challenging him is not going to get you very far. You know, and when there's nobody in the rink last night, he's looking for something to do, right? So he picked you out pretty quickly, and it's like, I don't think I'm going to let you down here. Haven't had anything to do tonight. Hasn't been anybody to talk to. So this is my chance to flex the security muscles, and just so happens he did that to you.
Yeah, well, like I say, I didn't need to make an issue of it. I didn't need to have my pass revoked.
Yeah.
And I'll visit Thad at another time. Toronto running away with our poll today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Who is the most annoying fan base in the NHL? We ran a bracket over the Christmas holidays. The finalists were Toronto and Montreal, and Toronto continues to win by a landslide, over 80% of the vote. They're so annoying, they don't even know why they're annoying. Like, there's proof right there. Don Mitchell, watching on YouTube, says Toronto is the most annoying at everything that goes on there. Isn't that a fact? I've got a limit. Some people are writing in with 97 comments today. You're done. Can't. There are other people watching the show. I can't have it going back and forth. Ryan in Saratoga, New York writes in and he says, Taco Time is the RP show's authority in all things tacos, so it's best to listen to them when going to your local Taco Time location. Yeah, I can't wait. Listen, you're going to come with me to the Taco Time on 17th. That's where I used to go when I went to Mount Royal.
Okay.
Oddly enough, I'm sure it's still open. Stacy, watching from Access Television World Headquarters, says in the States they spell RP Trouble. Not anymore, they don't. But they used to. I see a story coming out for the CFL fans. Here you go. I see a story coming out at 3downnation.com right now. I'd have to go find the headline of it. We're tagged in everything that 3Down posts, as you know, because you see it. Let me find it, by the way. I think it's the top article running. Because I have a take on this latest headline. This is today's news in the CFL. Elks offensive coordinator Stephen McAdoo doesn't comment on Nick Arbuckle as possible starting quarterback. And somewhere along the way, I think the headline is Nick Arbuckle. What the hell is it? Or Taylor. Listen to how my mind is not on the CFL right now, okay? Taylor Cornelius set to make, here it is. Elks quarterback Taylor Cornelius is scheduled to earn $275,000 less than Nick Arbuckle in 2022. That's the headline at 3downnation.com right now. Now, God bless the Edmonton media for digging at Chris Jones and digging at Stephen McAdoo, because the offensive staff, most of them were announced yesterday. What's he going to say? It's January. These aren't their quarterbacks.
Right.
Like, they're trying to pin down, the media is trying to pin down the brand newly named coaching staff at Edmonton in January, who their starting quarterback's going to be in June. Do you see the flawed thinking here?
Well, yeah, of course. It's obvious. I mean, you've got a new coaching staff who is given players. They have to evaluate those players, figure out who they want in those roles. We haven't even hit free agency yet. Right? I mean, it was different if this was, a month and a half from now. We've gone through free agency and they've made some moves. Then you can maybe start to ask the questions. Oh, this is who looks like they've appointed the starting quarterback. But it's too early for that.
Zach Caleros is going to be a free agent, okay? Now, I can't see him getting away from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but Chris Jones signed him once. What did Jones say last week? You can't win in the CFL without a quarterback. And listen, neither Nick Arbuckle nor Taylor Cornelius, who isn't even a household name in his own house, they are not proven in the Canadian Football League. So to sit here in January, knowing the way, why is it that people seem to forget how Chris Jones operates? On a yearly basis, they forget. I remember when they came to Saskatchewan, they cut everybody. And they ended up getting rid of Durant, getting rid of everybody. And we're like, listen, I got sucked into this. I remember broadcasting a show from the concourse at a Pats game, radio show. And I had John Murphy on, the assistant GM at the time. And I'm like, oh, my God, Murph, you don't have a quarterback. Murph's like, it's February. It was 2017. They made it to the East Final with Kevin Glenn. Remember that? To the last minute of the East Final in Toronto with Kevin Glenn. So it's fake news time in the CFL. Dunk and I argue over what fake news is, the meaning of it, and he actually got it right. Pardon me. Battling a cold here, Moose. A summer cold. I thought fake news was inventing news, and I was the king of it, right? For years with the Rough Riders, the king of it, just giving you something to talk about on a slow day. But Dunk's like, no, fake news is misleading news, intentionally misleading news. So this is not intentionally misleading news that 3downnation.com is putting out, but it's slow news. Whatever you want to call that. What do you call that? Tabloid news?
Yeah, maybe. It's the same thing. It's a little bit of the same. I mean, it's just like, we need something to talk about, so we'll find this, and this will give you something to chew on, and we'll bring out something you can talk about. It's not wrong. It's real. It's true. But it's not really that important today.
Exactly. Well, another headline as I see that. Chris Jones and new Edmonton coaching staff not paying attention to outside noise. This is news? When have they ever?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They're telling me to break, Moose, so I will see you back for overtime, okay?
You bet.
All right. Moe Egger from ESPN 1530 Cincinnati, home of the AFC North champions, joins us next. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives, focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
It's the RP Show, daytime sports talk, live on Game Plus Television Network across all 31 provinces and 10 provinces and 31 states, including the beautiful state of Ohio. Live daily on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com. Hey, I believe we got him because we got to go to Cincinnati and bring in our guy Moe Egger. The Bengals are the AFC North pennant winners for the first time since 2015. They knocked off the Kansas City Chiefs on the weekend. Yes, 34-31. Hey, was that, Mo, the game, clearly the game of the year? Was that the game of the decade for the Cincinnati Bengals in your mind?
One of the most significant in the history of the franchise, and it was like the perfect storm of stuff, too. It was the opponent, it was the stakes, it was the crowd, it was the way in which they won, it was the weirdness of the last couple of minutes, it was some of the coaching decisions that were made, but I think more than anything, it was I think the results of 2 years of hype over Joe Burrow and what this offense can do and all of that manifesting itself against the team that has kind of been the standard setter in the AFC.
Absolutely. By the way, pump the brakes. I like what you got going on there. You've been doing a lot of these interviews with that mic set up at ESPN 1530. You're sounding tight, man.
We just moved studios. I think the last time I talked with you, I was like in a closet. I was like trying to find the best place where we didn't just have stuff everywhere. And so the TV behind me doesn't work yet, but the microphone does. and after the last 2 weeks that we've had in this building, that is frankly a minor miracle.
Don't I know it? Mo, the viewers, by the way, the followers are saying the reason of the Bengals' success is the uniforms. They got long memories, these people. What do you think? What do you think?
Well, that's how you landed on my radar. That was the beginning of our friendship here, right? You went on and said, "Hey, the Bengals are getting new uniforms. They're still going to suck." That's an exact quote. They're still going to suck, and so we took that and ran with it. I don't think there's any direct correlation between the uniforms and how well the team has played, but I think they look sharper than they have, and on the field they look better than they have. So maybe you had something to do with it. Maybe they should send you some AFC North Championship gear so you can get rid of that money.
Wouldn't that be something? Well,
yeah.
As I say, I may not always be right, but you'll always know what I'm thinking. I saw your poll the other day. Should Joe Burrow be sat down in the regular season finale? What were the results of that, Mo?
I think about 70% say, yeah, he should be sat down. And about 25 minutes ago, he confirmed that he is not going to play. He's not going to play in the game against the Cleveland Browns. And yeah, there's still the possibility. Look at I got like a cord dangling here. That looks good, doesn't it? That's
okay.
Nothing best. Here, let's do this. I tried to make sure that wasn't a thing, but what the hell? So he's not going to play. And yes, there's still an outside shot that they could improve to the number 1 seed. They're going to need Kansas City to lose to a team with a losing record. They're going to need Tennessee to lose to a team with a losing record. They're going to need to beat the Browns, and they're going to need some other stuff to happen as well, a Buffalo loss or a New England loss. And so the chances of the Bengals elevating themselves to the number one seed in the AFC are really, really small. They're not large enough, I think, to risk compromising what is their biggest asset. Their biggest asset is their health. They've been really lucky this year, both from a COVID standpoint, although that is starting to infiltrate the team a little bit, but from a pure sort of traditional, if you will, sports injury standpoint, they've been able to keep most of their main guys healthy. In 2005, the Bengals played a playoff game with a backup quarterback for all but 2 plays. They lost that football game. In 2015, they played with a backup quarterback against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lost that football game. If ever there's a fan base that should understand the value in having your main guy, your starting quarterback available, that to me transcends who they play, where they play, when they play. The most important thing is to, as best as they can, keep their primary asset, which is their health, intact, and keep their most important player on the field in the playoffs. And so by sitting Joe Burrow out on Sunday, by the way, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. They beat the Browns and Case Keenum with Brandon Allen, their backup quarterback. But at the end of the day, they're doing everything they can to protect Joe Burrow, and I think that's the right move.
The viewers want to know, Mo, how far you see the Bengals going. So they're in the playoffs. How far? Has the S word been brought up in your town?
Has been and should be. And look, they will not be considered Super Bowl favorites. To me, that road goes through the Kansas City Chiefs, and that should be the case. They've won this conference each of the last 2 years. They were an eyelash away from winning it the year prior. So you've got to figure out a way to beat Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and that's going to be tough to do. It was tough to do for this team on Sunday. But, man, when you've got a quarterback playing at the level that Joe Burrow has played these last 2 weeks, the sky really is the limit. And the AFC, I'm not sure there's anybody who really terrifies you, right? Like, the Bills are formidable. I'm not sure they scare me. The Patriots are formidable. I'm not sure they scare me. The Titans are formidable. I don't think they're insurmountable. And you could apply this to the Raiders and to the Colts and to the Chargers or whoever else might make it. When you're getting high-end quarterback play and when you have the weaponry the Bengals have, I think they have a chance to be in every game. And, does that mean they win every game? No, but I do think they have it in them to make a run. And, people here will say, well, tap the brakes. They haven't won a playoff game since 1990. Let's take care of that first, and then we'll worry about, winning a conference championship or playing in the Super Bowl or anything like that. But, as much as the future for this franchise really seems to be bright, you simply don't know. You don't know what next year holds. You don't know what the future holds. You've got a shot now. And so I actually think it's pretty important for this franchise to take advantage of the shot they have. And I think from an offensive standpoint, they're equipped to do it. And yes, they have flaws, but, frankly, so does everybody in the AFC.
Maybe if the Bengals do something, they start to get some notoriety, because you never hear Zach Taylor's name in the conversation for Coach of the Year. But I want to get your take on what he's done. Former Winnipeg Blue Bomber quarterback. Not every day do you win that black and blue division that they're in. What do you like about Zach Taylor, your head coach?
I like the fact that when things were going really, really poorly, it felt like he maintained a really even keel. I think you and I have talked about this. Those first 2 seasons, every conceivable factor that could conspire against a head coach did, from the timing with which he got the job to injuries to, holdovers from the previous regime that never really wanted to play for him, to Joe Burrow's injury last year, to having a rookie quarterback in a COVID atmosphere. I mean, if it could go wrong, it did. And if it could work against Zach Taylor, it did. And yet I sort of felt like he did a pretty good job of keeping the team together. In those first 2 years, I never watched the Bengals and thought, well, it feels like they've tuned out their coach, or it feels like the coach has lost this team. They needed better players. They certainly in that first year needed a better quarterback. But I thought Zach did a pretty good job of just sort of keeping things together to the best extent that he could. But at the end of the day, he was going to go into year 3 being evaluated by, does he win football games? And the answer has been yes. And the primary reason why is Joe Burrow. Well, why did you hire Zach Taylor, a former quarterback, an offensive guy? You hired him because you might not have known that Joe Burrow was going to be the starting quarterback, but at some point they were going to be transitioning from Andy Dalton to someone else. And so to me, Zach Taylor was hired because you felt like he was the guy best equipped to turn the franchise over to someone else and groom whoever someone else is. And so as much as Joe Burrow might be a great natural talent, and as much as he might possess all the characteristics that you're looking for from a franchise quarterback, I think you have to at least not ignore the role that coaching has had in that. And that to me starts and ends with Zach Taylor. By the way, this is a good look, isn't it? Like I like one flap up. I'm like Jeffrey Leonard. One flap down, one flap up.
You're used to radio. Trust me, I get it. Trust me, I get it. Hey, my last one for you, Mo, is from Ryan. He's watching in Saratoga, New York. He says, I'm curious to know if Mo believes the Cincy Bearcats can repeat their feats from this year and make the college football playoff as a member of the Big 12 next season.
Well, I don't know that the Big 12 is going to happen next season. They would like for it to. Chances are that Big 12 membership will commence in 2023. So I think they're going to have at least one lame duck season in the American Athletic Conference and perhaps two, but it feels like 2023 is the year. I think it's awfully tough to expect them next season to make the college football playoff. This program has the last couple of years enjoyed great continuity, same coach, same quarterback, same coordinators, a lot of the same guys coming back from year to year. That's all being disrupted. Their offensive coordinators off to LSU, their special teams coordinators off to Notre Dame, their quarterback is off to the NFL, their best players are all off to the NFL or to graduation. And so I think this is going to be a bit of a transition season. I would stop short of saying it's going to be a rebuild because the recruiting has been so good. But look at what they did this year. They went 13-0. And did what no other Group of 5 school has done. Now, do I think they can use this season to put themselves in a place where they can hit the ground running in the Big 12 and be a factor in the Big 12? If the recruiting is as good as we think it has been, and if Luke Fickell is as good as we think he is, then I think the answer is yes. But they've got a lot of uncertainty going into 2022, and that really hasn't been the case the last couple of years because at this time of year, in each of the last 2 years, and to a degree 3 years, I could tell you who the coordinators were going to be. I could tell you who the quarterback was going to be. I could tell you who some of the main guys were going to be. And you really can't do that right now. So this is going to be a challenging year, but this program is positioned for long-term success. And I do believe, especially without Oklahoma in the Big 12, I do believe this program can get back to a college football playoff in pretty short order.
Love it. The alma mater of CFL greats, Zach Caleros and Danny Barrett. Mo, what's coming up on your show today? Bengals?
Oh, pretty much wall-to-wall Bengals today. Yeah, I mean, that's, it's interesting. We've gone from all the hype over UC football and the college football playoff to now we're all set. It's wall-to-wall Bengals. So we're obviously going to talk extensively about Joe Burrow not playing on Sunday. And, we might even do the old, well, who would you rather play sort of thing, because that's sort of a staple of late regular season NFL radio markets. So we might do that today as well.
Good for you, man. Enjoy it. Well, hey, Happy New Year, and we're following closely. Thanks for the time, pal.
You got it, man. Thanks so much. Good to see you.
Moe Egger from ESPN 1530 Cincinnati. The Moose joins us back in the bunker when we return for overtime and taco time viewer takeover. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network, available across the state of Ohio on the Buckeye cable system, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall. Or you might sprain your wrist or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit AuroraRecoveryCenter.com for more information today.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
And the Moose. Always fun chatting with Moe Egger from ESPN 1530 Cincinnati. And by the way, Moose, as this is Taco Time viewer takeover, in this segment called Overtime, brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the National Hockey League and the UFC. Kenny Gill writes in on the 902 text line. He's watching in Pittsburgh. He says, while watching my Bengals beat the Chiefs Sunday to win the AFC North, I kept hearing in my head Rod say, Chris Jones, every time the Chiefs All-Pro made a play. Let's be honest. Every time you're watching the Chiefs and they talk about Chris Jones, you think about our Chris Jones, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
I know I do.
Yeah.
Featured game tonight is an easy one. Obviously, it's Oilers-Leafs. I wanted to talk about the rock star of the day. Yesterday's rock star was Jeff Reinbold, by the way, just so you know, for Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. And I'll tell you more about Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions in a moment. There you go. Good supporters of ours. I think that it might very well today be Moe Egger. I'm not sure. But do you remember, did you see the Cincinnati Bengals, Moose, having the season that they've had, winning the AFC North, by the way? I mean, I obviously didn't. Rockstar of the day for Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions, specializing in improving your company's performance and bottom line through supply chain management services. Didn't see it coming. And it's going to be a fun NFL football playoff as we broadcast live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. We'll have a lot of NFL talk to talk about out there.
Look at that division. Cleveland, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincy, right? That's the division. It, coming into the season, was supposed to be one of the toughest divisions in football. It's still very competitive. But Pittsburgh, like league-leading defense, or one of the top defenses in the NFL. They've got the sack leader trying to break the record in T.J. Watt next week. I thought they would be better, but their offense didn't hold up and didn't take a step forward. Baltimore got out to a great start. They were dangerous, but as Lamar Jackson broke down a little bit and teams figured them out, they've taken a step back. Cleveland feels like eons ago, but it was only a few months ago that they were supposed to be Super Bowl contenders or among the favorites. And they took a huge step backwards this year, and they dealt with some issues. And then all of a sudden, Cincinnati just right up to the top. And we know it's the National Football League. Teams can turn around quickly. Didn't envision it to be this fast for Cincinnati. We knew they'd be better, but not this good.
Jennifer, speaking of the Four Seasons, Jen down at the Four Seasons says, I'll be impressed if the Oil win tonight. I haven't heard who they're starting, but I hope it's Skinner. It's not. It's Mike Smith. So I'll say it again. Here it's a spotty Sports on Tap tonight for the Tap Brewhouse and Liquor Store, in that there aren't that many games. Oilers, Leafs, Blues, Penguins, and then postponed is the Islanders at Vancouver. And then you got the Raptors visiting the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. # Fear the Deer. I think it's going to get sloppy. I think I saw the over-under from Bet Regal was 5. Anytime the order, 5 or 5.5, I think anytime the Oilers are playing, you're betting the over. Now, that didn't happen the other night in New York. It was 4-1 Rangers, but
yeah.
With the Leafs, listen, we make fun of them. I bang on them, but they can score. Now, I could look up the over-under. What are you taking on the game tonight?
Over, whatever it is, taking the over. I think this will be really good for Edmonton. I could see a way that...
Six.
Okay. Still take the over.
6. Sorry, for Bet Regal. Yeah.
Still taking it. I think it'll be like a 5-3 game. I think that the Oilers could be really good for them. They could play really well, but if I'm betting, I'm probably betting the over, and I'm probably betting the Leafs.
Rodgers Sportsnet has the game nationally, and I'll see if they're carrying it down here on ESPN. Last minute of play in the RP show, episode number 467. Darren in Salt Lake City watching, he says, NFL seasons are a marathon, not a sprint, hence the Browns, Ravens, and Steelers flameouts. Isn't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
John in Winnipeg. John, Rod, grab your goalie pads. The Oil need you in net, bro. That's okay. Believe it or not, I didn't bring my goalie gear to Florida. Didn't think I'd need it. Although I have had invitations to play.
Wow.
So I'll bring it back. Moose, it's a hockey hotbed. We'll talk about that more another time. Thanks to Ryan Leslie and Moe Egger. A lot of laughs today, eh? A lot of smiles, a lot of spits and giggles. Moose, I'll see you tomorrow at noon Eastern.
See you then.
See you all tomorrow, everybody, here on Game Plus.
I'm not this renegade rogue tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist. I'm just telling you what's actually going on.